Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of FTB Evolution on the FTOG server. Sorry this episode's a little late, but better late than never, right? So you'll notice my FOV just changed. I got a little bit of speed, and now it's gonna go back. I think that's the time effects from the Paradox machine, which I have set up and filled with time fluid. So that's what we're going to start the episode with off today. So I have ore, I have a supremium growth accelerator, and I have 2 cobblestone. Because I read somewhere that this only works with ores and mobs. So I'm going to test all these things, because if I could find a way to duplicate these faster and cheaper than growing them all, that would be amazing. So here's what we're going to do. I have this area rendered. I have it set to pulse. I'm going to snapshot. And then, theoretically, if I remove all of this... Oh, there, yep, I see, okay. It does only do ores, because that's what Render Paradox is. So now, if I were to hit this button, it should spend the time fluid to bring those quartz back. And Paradox Energy. It's not using it very quickly. Okay, I'm not going to use this because there are far better and safer ways to get ore than this thing. But it's cool to know how it works, right? And now that that little loose end is cleaned up, we can start playing with what we're playing with for the first part of the episode today, which is the MFFS mod, the Modular Force Field System. So this is basically a way to generate force fields, and I'm going to take you through it one device at one. This, Advanced Energy Cube, we've seen this. This is the coercion driver, which on derive will turn FE energy into Fortron, which is the mod energy. So if we turn that on, it'll increase the Fortron. Next, we have this Fortron capacitor, which if we turn it on, it will obtain Fortron from this guy. And this is linked via this frequency, 6500, which I will be changing later, to this device, this device, this device, this device, and this device. The interdiction matrix, I believe, is something that essentially puts out an aura that you can do various things with. This is the force field projector, which we will play with in a second, and this is the biometric identity, or biometric identifier, as it were. So, if we take this identification card, constructed like that, we shift-click it. We've set it to us. We can then throw it in here and adjust our rights. So we want to pick all of these, I think. I don't know what the lighting is. For some reason, the more of these I pick, the darker it goes, and I don't know why. But we'll just leave that in there for now. And then, if we need to turn that on? I don't actually really know how this works, and I think I'd need another person to make it work, but the main part of the mod is this. So the force field projector. You saw earlier we have all of this stuff. So if I take this, and these, that's interdiction, we want silence, and that's a speed, we don't need that. This is a remote controller. I can right-click it on any of these blocks and access the inside of it from there. That's going to be important. Let's put that down for now. Set our projection, or set our sleep point. Yes. This is a frequency card, which you can set to a particular frequency in this, I think? If I turn this off... Oh, no, never mind. That will set the machine to that frequency. Okay, so, this. If we put a cube in here, it'll display it, and then we create a force field matrix by putting stuff in here. So if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's down, south, west, up, and north. And then if we translate it up a bit, Now, all of that set, if we turn this on, it will generate a cube right above it that I can't walk through unless I'm shifting like this. The problem is it drains so much power, that tiny force field. So it's not really practical until we have like a fusion reactor. But for now, I'll show you the sphere. That generates a much bigger one. And this will allow me to demonstrate something else cool. There we go. So, yeah. People don't know what's going on. So yeah, if you stop in one of the blocks, you are gonna die. For example, let me show you again. Actually, let me grab my grave first, just in case that disappears. So, if I'm stop here, you'll see the nausea. If I unshift, I will die. Okay. There we go. So yeah, that's the force field. The interdiction matrix. Let's see what we have here. We have the warning module. If I turn this on, it's gonna warn me if I get within a certain number. Okay. Let's put the husband back on because we're not dying again, I think. If I put the banned items... No. Loud? No? This was working the other day. If I put the warning module in, I get close. Biometric identifier on. If I turn the biometric identifier off, does it work? 1 second. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what to tell you. It was working the other day when I tested it, and it's not working now. So, whatever. Supposedly that would issue a warning if a player that's not in the system gets super close to it, but it appears to not be working. Now, because of this, we're not really going to be using this system for a lot. I can think of a couple uses, but not important ones, so we'll see if this shows up later. But for now, I'm just going to leave it. Next up, we're in the actually additions chapter, which actually is marked as done, because for some reason, all of these quests that clearly aren't done are marked optional. It seems like the only actually important quests were these 9. The rest seem to be completely optional, which makes sense because actually additions is kind of just a neat little gadgets thing. So I made the easy ones. These are harder. I made the gadgets that I wanted and left the rest. Like, the sack is just a smaller backpack. The leaf blower blows away grass and flowers, which would be easier than using water if I had to do that. We have a drill. Don't need that. Coffee maker makes coffee. That's like a worse potion. So, I do have a couple interesting little gadgets to show you. First off, we have the teleport staff, which will teleport me like 100 blocks away. Let's go outside and see how far we can make it go. It just runs on power, which is infinite, so it's much better than the Just Dire Things teleporter thingy. So if I go here, boom. In this direction, it will teleport me however many blocks this is. I don't know exactly. But if it has to recharge on the cooldown. If you look at the hotbar there. Boink. Yay, teleport staff. That's pretty cool. We have the Ring of Growth, which actually now I'm thinking I should probably go outside for. So this is basically, if I put it on, it will grow plants. So let's put this on for a minute. Can I? I can't. If I just hold it, I guess? Yep, you can see it moving there. It's going to grow the plants. Nothing too special. Woo. We did that. This, was not part of the actually additions. It's its own mod. But I picked up, it was a quest reward option for one of the quests, and I didn't pick it, but I figured it was super easy to make, so let's do it. We have the hyperbox. We've placed it down. When we first click on it, we can name it. Flask Dimension. The Flask Dimension. If we save and enter, we're in a dimension. It's this easy. Let's place down this guy, just for testing purposes. And now, if we click here, we will land on top, and we can grab it. Where'd it go? There it is. And you see it's named the Flask Dimension. And if I put it down, I can go back in, and we're in the same dimension. So this is a portable pocket dimension. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it, and it doesn't auto chunk load, so I would have to chunk load it. We'll see what we can do with that. And that's pretty much the state of things right now. I did a little bit of busy work, you played with some new mods, nothing too crazy. Just a little update video today, but before we go, I wanted to show you something in the mining dimension that I need to preamble. So, I'm not sure if you're playing the Modpack or not, but you may have noticed that the Modpack updated to 1.12. The server is still on 1.10. I assume it will be updated eventually? We'll see. But if it does get updated, Grok pointed out that because 1.12 added the create mod, which would be awesome to have, we would need to reset the mining dimension again for zinc. And I went into the mining dimension to remove all my stuff, and it occurred to me, I wonder if there's a way that I can just do this super easy every time the mining dimension needs to get reset, which hopefully isn't going to be again after this one. But I did come up with a solution. So, if we head in here, I'll show you. Dun da da da! The mining outpost. You'll see it has all the shells from before. It has a controller that is linked to all of them, and it has an item collector, which if I render the area, is up here. This is the max size area. So let's just test that out real quick. If we go here, throw that in the center, we can row it up, and then we can hit fell, and all of that will be not collected. Why, though? Did I put it on the wrong thing? If I switch that to low, will it go? No. Okay, this is a little weird. Ignored. Pick up my stuff. Well, haven't we got an interesting little development here? So, the other day, when I put this together in preparation for filming this episode, this controller was linked to all three of these things. And it would put stuff into all three of these banks. However, today, when I go to, it'll do that one, anything in this bank works, but for some reason, the side banks have mysteriously stopped working. So, if anyone has any ideas as to why that might be happening, I haven't updated the pack, the server hasn't updated, it's exactly the same, it's just not working now. I have the controllers, they're all linked. I don't know what's happening, but also, the item collector will not put stuff in anymore. It won't put stuff into the item. Or into here, obviously, because it can't put it in the controller, but in theory, when I get this figured out, why this wasn't working, that will put it into here. And we have all of this. And in here is the renamed bag of yurting from the house we got back in episode 1. And if I go like this, it'll break almost everything. but it won't, you'll see on there, it won't do it because it thinks it's gonna break it and have too many entities. So I think that's the yurting mod, realizing how many entities are in here. So if we put this back, it's all back to normal. Oh, sorry. However, if I sneak and grab it, ta-da! We have a fully modular mining outpost that I can keep in my inventory when I don't need it. And I can go over here if I want, slap it down, jump up, ta-da! This linking controller actually goes in here because these actually stop working when you do the yurting thing. So if I have to grab them and put them back, or they won't work. Which, let's see if this fixes it, shall we? Controller, 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 controller. And then we grab this, we grab this guy. Link, link, link. Now, no. The storage controller seems to not like the yurting. Will it now take this, though? No. I don't get it. Why aren't you working? You were working the other day when I made this system. How about now? Nope. Will you work now? No. Well, regardless, even if the collector and the thing isn't working, we have our barrels, and when the server needs to be updated and the mining dimension needs to get moved around, I can just yoink. I keep forgetting that I need to shift. Yoink. And I can even go back to the overworld, and I'll just throw this in my backpack with all of my ores in it. Theoretically speaking, I could dump that anywhere. It doesn't even need to be in the mining dimension. I could take it to the nether. I could take it to the void dimension for some reason. I could use it here. It doesn't matter. And it's great. And when I need to pick it up and move it out of the mining dimension, it now takes a few seconds and not 10 minutes. One interesting thing to note, however, if I say, take this, I'm facing east. If I... Nope. Messed up. Put it back. Grab it again. I'm facing east right now. Say if I go north, the area for the picker-upper, once I get that working again, all gone. All wrong. So I just need to grab it, face south, put it back. And then everything will be back to normal. Just one, there's a couple flaws with this device, but overall I think it's going to save me 10 minutes, because hopefully we don't ever need to reset the mining dimension again, maybe after 1.12 if we update to it. Who knows? But, yeah. There's a couple flaws. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Before I go, I just want to let you have a sneak peek of what the future holds. As I was... Ooh, we want that. Oh, right. I also activated the final, pinnacle of Apotheosis, so now we have a 25% chance of mythic mobs. Almost a 50% chance of flawless gems blocking, so once I collect a few of those, maybe we'll get into Apotheosis a little more. Where did that person go? There it is. But yes, as I was saying, in the future, as I was building... Oh my gosh! They do a lot of damage now! Okay, even with my infinity health. Maybe it didn't quite heal up. Oh, I didn't heal up all the way because I don't have my, food up. I need to work on that. Anyway, getting on to the end of the episode. As I was saying, the next thing I want is eternal packing tape, because as I was making that mining dimension outpost, I had to move a lot of those barrels, and packing tape has 8 uses. Let me show you. Packing tape 8 uses. And that's not great if you want to move a whole storage system, but you can use it in a smithing table with an eternal stella to make it eternal packing tape that will last forever. I want that. But in order to get that, we have to be able to make these. And that is part of the Forbidden Arcanus. Where are ya? Forbidden and Arcanus quest line. So this is the next major goal. I don't know if I'm going to have it ready for next time, but this is the next big goal. So, stay tuned for that. But until then, FractureCo thanks you. Later.